What up, worship boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. We going live tonight. Told y'all it's gonna be some changes around here. We going live tonight. I want to do something I ain't done. I want to do something that I don't want to do. Right? I don't want to do this, but I have to. I have to do this, right? Let me put it like this, right? I'm from what some may consider the golden age of hip hop, right? And I got a couple people I revere as my idols, so I don't want to tear them down. But what I want to do tonight, I want to have a real conversation because I don't think nobody's addressing this situation with Bigg Gipp. Salute the Goody Mob, Goody Mo B. I grew, man, they changed my life. Let me just put it like that. Goody Mob, Outkast, the Dungeon Family. I've been on record many times that the Dungeon Family and Goody Mob have changed my life. I even did a couple videos. I did a video review of the documentary, the Dungeon Family documentary, talking about Outkast and the whole thing. Killer Mike, Witch Doctor, all that. They're my boys, right? I love Dungeon Family. I love them, right? I love Bigg Gipp. But Bigg Gipp saying some crazy out-of-pocket stuff, and I just want to address it. Shout out to Gipp, too. This is not disrespectful, but as grown men, we got to check each other sometimes. I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. So I don't know if you've seen shout out to Art of Dialogue, right? They do a lot of retro interviews where they speak to people that are still living about things that happened in the past, like Tupac, Biggie, a lot of Tupac and Biggie. Keith Murray just went viral recently for being on there because he's bugging out talking about Shauna gave him head and Foxy Brown gave him head. Just all this madness. Like, it's a whole lot of stuff. Shout out to Art of Dialogue. They're getting a lot of discussion out about things that we actually really want to know about. And I appreciate it. I respect what they're doing over there. So salute the Art of Dialogue, bro. I like the channel. I watch the channel as much as I can. Right? So, like Gene D will be on there and a lot of other people. So I want to say this, right? My guy Bigg Gipp went on the Art of Dialogue. And I know that Bigg Gipp is outspoken. I know that Bigg Gipp gonna say what Bigg Gipp say. I understand that. But the problem with what he said, and it's out of pocket, because there's so many variables to what he's saying. So he basically, let me just give you I'm gonna play it for you. I'm gonna play it because you have to hear it first. I'm gonna play a little bit of it because you gotta hear what Bigg Gipp is saying about Jay-Z and Beyonce. Now, what he said was, if Pac was alive, Beyonce would be with Tupac over Jay-Z. And he actually expanded on that in a follow-up interview, and he talked about just basically how much swag Pac had. Pac was known for going after people's girls. Pac went after Biggie's girl. Pac went after Will Smith's girl. And we're going to talk about it. I was going to do a short video, but I can't do this. Can't be a short video. I got to deep dive this one because there's so much to discuss. You can't just say Tupac had so much swag that he would have just took everybody's girl. And then he went on to say, the players and the giants of the game ain't around when Jay-Z wouldn't be who Jay-Z was if Pac was still here. And people say that. I understand. I respect your opinion about that. And he said Jay-Z rapped about that street stuff. Pac rapped about everything, right? And if you didn't care about the street stuff, you wouldn't care about Jay-Z. So this is my thing. Me being from the streets just like he is, I understand what he's saying, and I understand. Let's just be a buck. If you really listen to Bigg Gipp, it sounds like Bigg Gipp hating on Jay. You can say no disrespect all you want, but you could still be hating. And you could still be a Pac fan without hating on Jay. So let me just say this, right? There's going to be a lot of people that feel like Tupac is better than Jay in every way. What I want to say about that is that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having that opinion, right? I want to just say that off the rip. There's nothing wrong. If you feel Tupac is better than Jay, that's fine. But the way my man Gipp was trying to tear Jay down was the problem. So, Art of Dialogue, the guy asked him, the Rolling Stones magazine 50 rappers of all time list came out. Jay-Z was at number 1. Pac was at number 4. What do you think about that? So right there, again, salute to the Art of Dialogue, but that is a trigger question. That's a question. He's doing his job. He posed a trigger to guests, just like they do on Drink Champs when they say, oh, a quick time with slime. They give you all these hard-ass questions that you got to pit one against the other or you got to take a shot. So he pits Tupac against Jay. Now, I don't think, maybe he does know that Bigg Gipp already hate Jay, because this is not the first time Gipp has said something about Jay. Maybe he knew it, because there's no reason to ask that particular question unless you know this guy going to flick off and he going to say something crazy, which he did. So I'm going to play you the interview and we're going to come back. I'm going to play as much as I can. Remember, this is fair use. I don't want my video getting a strike because I used this audio clip, but I want to play a little bit so you can follow what's going on. I'm going to play it right now.
Billboard and Vibe magazine, right? They came out with a top 50 rappers of all time list, and they had Jay-Z at number 1, and they had Tupac at number 4. And a whole lot of people was mad about it, man. You had some people that felt like, Jay-Z, he was at number 1, and he should be at number 1. And you had some people that felt like Tupac, he should be at number 1. So I want to ask you, man, how you feel about it, man? Tupac or Jay-Z?
To me, Tupac. Only reason why you inching Jay past Tupac because he got goddamn Beyonce. You take Beyonce away, then bar for bar, yeah, he might rap better than Pac, but Pac came with the heart. That's different. It's just different. You can't beat that. You can never beat the heart, bro. Some people can be technical, just like the difference between Jordan and LeBron. Jordan, technical. That motherfucker technical. He a master.
Right.
LeBron, man, all the way goddamn gangster goons.
Facts. Facts.
You know what I mean? Two different styles.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. If Pac was here, you think, if Pac was here, who you think the girl would have been with? Hold up. Hold up. It's about being with the biggest, huh? Who would do it the most? You still can't act. You can't do no movies. You can't do what Pac was doing. Come on, how can you be better than Pac? You one shot Charlie. You just.
Let me pause that right there. So shout out to Gipp. He doing it. He's saying what he want to say from the heart. But let's start here. We talking about rappers. We talking about rapping. You already said, Gipp, I'm here. Like I said, it's no disrespect, but you just said bar for bar, you can't mess with him. You already said he might be better with the bars than Pac. You said it already. So anything after that is speculation and low-key hate. So let me just say this. You just said you can't act. What we talking about? We said the 50 best rappers, and they put Jay at number 1. And the first thing Gipp said was, you can't act. Gipp, what we talking about, fam? What we talking about? Acting or rapping. So as soon as let's do this. As soon as we gonna move it and expand it, we gonna move it and expand it. Once you say you can't act, right? We got to talk about everything Jay do, right? So I'm going to let you finish, right? I'm going to let Gipp finish. But Gipp said you can't act, and we talking about who the best rapper. You already said he better than him. It's nothing. Video should cut right there. But Gipp wants to go, because he says it, I'm a Pac guy. So he's a Tupac guy. He's telling you off the rip, I'm a Tupac guy. So I'm going to give you every excuse why I just told you that Jay-Z's a better rapper. He said it in the beginning of the video. Jay-Z's a better rapper. But Tupac's a better actor. He got more swag. He'll take your girl. What's all that got to do with rapping? But I'm going to let you finish.
Just the best at your one shot. That boy was a triple threat.
Facts.
I did groups that were successful, solo albums that were successful, and movies that were successful.
Facts.
Hands down, partner. If he had lived, he would have smoked everything walking.
Let me stop you right there. If he had lived, it's so many people that died. So let's just take it back to street stuff. You know how there's a dude on the block, he's the muscle. He out there. Everything, nothing breathe unless he let it breathe, right? He got the whole block from here to 8 blocks, all his, the whole, everything. Because he alive and he doing whatever. And then in a month, somebody clap him, lay him down on the ground, and he gone. Then here come Marlo from the Wire or whoever else is going to be. They step up, they doing their thing. And 25 years later, Marlo is a billionaire from doing the same thing Big Man was doing. Guess what? They might say, if he'd have lived, Marlo wouldn't be. Well, guess what? I'd be the first one to hate. I hate to tell you this, Pac didn't live. Rest in peace to Tupac. But how you gonna say if he had lived, he would have did this and that? Do you understand that the I'm not gonna say the rumor, but what came out at the end was Pac didn't have no money at all. Let's be honest. When Pac passed away, Pac didn't have no money. I believe they said Pac had like 150 grand in an account somewhere. When he made millions, hundreds of millions of dollars for everybody else. Listen, I'm a Tupac fan, I'm a Jay-Z fan, but what we're not gonna do is start acting like Pac was bigger than he was. Pac was the biggest rapper in the world. But then he moved like he was a thug on the street. And it didn't end up well. So if it wasn't that night, it might have been another night or another night or another night. Pac became a gangbanger after he was already a grown man. He was already a successful billionaire, rapper. And then he became a gangbanger. So my whole thing is this. If we're going to talk about Pac, let's talk about it. Right? You just said, he says later in the interview that it's all about the money, that Pac would have been this and that. We don't know what Pac would have did with the money because he wasn't that good with it when he was here. I'm just being honest. If somebody could tell me the opposite of that, Pac was running with a lot of dudes that had this and that and the third going on, right? That he didn't live up to his potential. Now, he goes later in the interview that it was more Dame than Jay-Z that made Jay-Z pop. It was Dame out here snapping and doing whatever Dame does, right? It take a special kind of person to align himself with someone like that. Pac aligned himself with Suge Knight, who dragged him into a whole lot of gang stuff that eventually led to his death. If we're going to be honest, right? Jay rode with Dame, who gave him life. Tupac died in 1996. That's the same year, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Reasonable Doubt just came out around that time. But yet somehow Pac is getting at Jay-Z. You're only going to get on people who on your level. Pac came out with Digital Underground. He was the dancer. Then he got his shot, and then he did the one Holler If You Hear Me and all that stuff, right? More conscious rap, right? And yeah, he did Juice. We love him for Juice. Jay-Z ain't no actor. He's not an actor by far. But we talking about rapping. But let's just stick to that. Let's say Jay-Z. Jay-Z only acting is in Streets Is Watching. And he clearly is not an actor by no stretch. I'm going to give you that, Gipp. He's not an actor. He never claimed to be an actor. But the question was 50 best rappers. Jay-Z was at number 1. Pac was at 4. What's your thoughts? You start talking about Jay-Z's a better rapper, but Pac is an actor. Pac got more swag. Pac would have took Beyonce. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. But at the end of the day, right? Again, it's not about being disrespectful. I'm just keeping it a buck. If Pac wouldn't have got smoked that day, it might have been another day, 2 weeks later. Pac was wilding, bro. Pac was wilding, bro. It's bigger than just I'm a rapper and I'm a sex symbol and this and that. And I went after Janet Jackson and all. Pac was wilding every day. The people that lived through it, right? A lot of these youngers don't remember. Pac was wilding every day. And if you watch any other these Bigg Gipp interviews, he told you that Pac came into the Soul Train Awards with 50 goons, gangbangers, ran up on Biggie and them and they're trying to, about to clap him down. So what kind of behavior is that for an artist that's supposed to be rapping? Now I get it. He did 150 songs. He nonstop did songs in the booth, right? Now we're not here. We here to talk about it. So Bigg Gipp talked and now I'm talking. So he did mad songs and then he went out on some gangbang stuff every night on something else that he had no business doing. Back in the day, I remember, I'm gonna do you one better. I remember when I used to have I had a job somewhere at a retail store. And my man Disco come around the corner, he like, bro, your boy Pac, he at it again. Boy, this dude is dumb. I'm like, what happened? He done got himself, this is when he got shot the first time in New York. And we didn't know, nobody knew the particulars. They just knew Pac got shot. But we had already seen it coming. Because he was doing the most. There was no rapper doing as much as Pac back then. Just doing extra, right? I want somebody to get in the comments and tell me where I'm wrong. I want to be told where I'm wrong at. Pac was doing so much. It was like it's inevitable. And when he got shot in New York, it was like we seen this coming. So everything but rapping, Pac is into it. And he rapping too. I get it. He's the biggest rapper ever. Let's be a buck, right? But most of Gipp's argument is if, shoulda, woulda, could. At the end of the day, right? Pac was so wild, we don't know if he ever would have amounted to any of that. Right? Now let's play it out. He was going to leave death row, right? Which means he would have had to deal with Suge at that point. How many people left death row with anything? Dre left death row because he gave up everything. And you remember when Pac went to death row, what did he have? Wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments when I'm wrong. Wasn't it Suge Knight that came with the napkin to the jail? Made him sign a contract on a napkin and then paid him to get out, paid the bail to get him out? Make this make sense to me, bro. How he was going to do all of this when he left death row. Because according to Gipp, he was going to put the studio in Atlanta and make his own label and leave death row. Mind you, Suge is going everywhere, muscling everybody. How was he going to do that? Last videos I seen on Pac, he wasn't talking about leaving. No, he was talking about death row east. So it's a lot of people saying Pac was leaving death row. He was going to do his own thing in Atlanta, this and that and the third. But what he sold on TV was that death row was going to take over the east and the west coast at the same time. So I'm confused. So at the end of the day, how much would he have accomplished had he left death row? How much would Suge have let him do? Because let's be honest, the muscle was Suge. Do you watch these videos with Mob James and all these people? They was under Suge. They wasn't under Tupac. So guess where the muscle go when he leave? That's why what happened in New York happened. Pac was just a guy. Now, he got a lot of love in the world from the raps. We all love the rapping, but let's be a buck. Pac was one man against the world. And yeah, Pac was wild out. He carried a burn on him everywhere he went. Everybody know the stories. We know Pac walked around packing everywhere he went, but he's one man, bro. All that muscle. Why you think he's kicking Orlando Anderson? Why you think he's trying to earn his keep in that situation? Now everybody know. Now we in 2023. Everybody know. Ain't no way in the world Tupac should have ever been nowhere near that fight. In a million years, it should have been nowhere near Tupac. Imagine Drake kicking somebody. He's the money. Suge stomping a guy. This is the people you keeping around. Suge should have grabbed him first. As soon as they say, "Oh, that's the dude," Pac should have been escorted away. I need you to tell me when I'm lying. Pac should have been escorted away from that situation. But somehow he's in it, kicking and doing all this stuff, right? How far would this kind of behavior have carried him? We didn't even get to Beyonce. Beyonce was a little girl at this point. Right? Beyonce was a little girl at this point. Jay didn't even know who Beyonce was. So we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that later, but we need to peel back the layers because Bigg Gipp, right? Don't get me wrong, we love Pac. We love Pac. But Gipp is making it like it's undeniable. Pac was going to stomp on everything in the game. He was taking everybody's money. A lot of these guys wouldn't have been able to eat if Pac was around. But now, why are we doing ifs? What if Biggie was around? We're doing a lot of ifs. Now, Pac got a lot of love. We still get love. I love Pac. But what we're not going to do is act like history ain't what it was. Now that we older men, right? Gipp talking about a man in 1996, 95, 94 that clearly was spiraling out of control and he's glorifying it. But what we're not going to do is make it like a man that became a billionaire with a loss to a dude that's out here wilding. We need to keep this clear, bro. Pac was legit wilding out here. And that's what people don't talk about. All these interviews that these people doing, they glorifying Pac, and it's interesting, it's entertaining, and we love Pac. Oh, he had the thug life because he knew he had to speak in their language. He had to do that first, and then we know he's a revolutionary. That's what he does. That's what his job is. Revolutionary. But he also had the thug thing going on. And let's be honest, it's tough to carry that thug thing. You saw his life. In and out of jail. Shot multiple times. Accused of rape. It was a lot of stuff that this man had to deal with. You listen to his music, it's hopeless. Is there heaven? Is there hell? Like you heard this guy was in pain all the time. It wasn't easy by no stretch. A lot of people don't really pay attention. They only hear the songs they want to hear. Right? They only want to hear, they don't hear the pain. They want to hear all the glory, all the glorified. They don't want to hear the pain, right? A lot of pain in the man music. And Bigg Gipp is up here making it like, and I'm about to play some more of this interview, but Bigg Gipp up here making it like Pac was going to eat everybody's food. If he was alive, it wouldn't be no Jay, wouldn't be no this and that. Dudes is going to eat regardless. Let's be honest. These dudes is on New York time. Let's be honest, bro. These dudes is on New York time. It wouldn't be no DMX. It wouldn't be... If you let dudes tell it, it wouldn't be no rap scene if Pac was alive. Pac was talking about coming back to New York, rapping with everybody, making it, unifying it. So who was he going to stop? He already had a record plan to unify. Method Man and Buckshot Shorty, all these people was getting on this record with Pac to unify rap. Because he's from both sides of the coast. So it wasn't going to be no, you can't eat because Pac out here. So... Again, I'm going to play some more Gipp. on this Art of Dialogue, and we're gonna keep it moving.
After that album that he was doing, he had already showed us him almost finished with the new album, where he was moving to Atlanta, putting on the slave. He had like this whole little slave. I'm going back and I'm gonna start my new label in Atlanta. He already, that shit that he was doing with Death Row was already written out. He was already writing the new album and was gonna say the new label was gonna be in Atlanta. So in his mind, he had already gave Death Row what he owed Death Row.
In his mind.
If he had lived, he was gonna be in Atlanta making the new record and the new label. So at the end of the day, if it played out the way it played out, baby, everything that you see now probably wouldn't be what it is.
Slow down. Again, man, I love Gipp, man. This is my guy. Salute to Gipp. I wish I could talk to him and have a conversation, but it's irrelevant. Salute to the Dungeon family. Salute to Outkast, right? One man's going to change the entire course of rap. And let's be clear, Pac was there, but there was a lot of people eating when Pac was there. Let's keep it a buck. There was a lot of people eating when Pac was there that probably was still going to eat. Nas was eating when Pac was around. Remember that? Jay-Z was eating when Pac was around. There's a lot of people. Snoop was actually bigger than Pac at the time. Right? It's more to the story. I know we want to build up Pac to this great giant thing that just everything, he consumed everything. That happens after you pass away. Rest in peace, right? But imagine both Biggie and Pac alive. Now, it's all this Biggie. Pac did a lot of rolling up on Biggie and this and that, pressing him. Let me just keep it a buck. And they say Biggie was about to leave his label too, and da-da-da. And they probably would have made up in about 3 years, to be honest with you. But let's just play it out. Now, I'm Biggie, and I'm starting to get my money up and my records and da-da-da. At some point, all of that running up, we're not really going to have that too much longer. So they was going to clash at some point anyway. The only reason Biggie was kind of not like responding because he had hope that was his band and that was going to be resolved. That was his man. He was going to resolve it. So I'm not going to say nothing. He did Who Shot You before Pac even got shot. The record was already old. Keith Murray went on Art of Dialogue and told about how the record was done and they changed his verse and put Big on it. That record was before that beef even happened, right? So Biggie technically never responded to Pac. Now, imagine a year of this. Pac screaming and all. At some point, it's going to be a retaliation. Right? And I'm going to say something. This probably going to shock a couple of y'all. If Biggie would have did a response song to Pac, he would have ate Pac. Let's just be honest. When you listen to Hit 'Em Up, Pac has one verse and then the Outlaws come in. So we say we go around, we say Hit 'Em Up is the biggest, it's the greatest diss record. It's a great record. We love Hit 'Em Up. But let's be honest. He wrote one verse. I'm just keeping it a buck with you, right? And I don't want to do this, but this is me responding to Gipp just a little bit out of pocket, kind of hating on this. I'm just being a buck with you. Gipp is really legit hating on this. Let me play it some more, then we're going to keep it moving.
So, with me knowing how electric he was when he walked in the room, bro, you had to have all the money to have that kind of about yourself. You wanted the money. You know the money make people go, hey, you got the money. Pac didn't need no money to make people look at him. Pac was a star without the money. So if I put these two individuals beside each other without the money, hey man, the little bald head man wins the game.
So I guess Gipp forgot that Pac was the first one rocking those Versace shirts in the open shirt with the chain, right? Fly. He was the flyest rapper. I don't know if y'all forgot that. Because Pac used to wear baggy jeans and hoodies when he came out with Holler If You Hear Me and all that. But then he went to Death Row and got his money up. And he started wearing very luxurious, beautiful clothing. And keeping his hair, everything clean and freshly shaved. And he got very, very swaggy. And he looked very rich. And he had a lot of people around him that looked very rich. So Gipp is insinuating that they wouldn't have rocked with Jay if he didn't have a dollar. If he didn't have no money, he wouldn't have had no chicks. And Pac did it without the money. He had all these chicks. And he had everything. He was just a big star. Let's keep it a buck. First of all, you a star. He's a star because he's in movies. Right? He's in a movie with Janet Jackson. So that made him a star by default. But let's be clear. Pac dressed very well. Pac had on very expensive jewelry. So he wasn't out here looking like no bum, just bagging chicks. But I'm going to keep it moving.
Across the board. Nobody ever recorded as fast as him.
Facts.
Put out as many songs as him.
Facts.
When, baby, the girls didn't love you like that until you got the money, man.
He's talking about Jay-Z.
When Pac was Bishop on Juice.
Say less.
You know what I mean? So, hey, man, you know what I mean? I look at it from a man's perspective because I've been in the room with both.
Mm-hmm.
And all I'm saying is, when I first met Jay-Z, it was more about Dame, the Tars. That was out there, hey, man, Shawty was quiet most of the time. It was that Tars popping. First time being in the club, going outside, seeing the white beers with the Rockefeller symbols. I seen it in real life. So for me, I got to see the rise of people, but hey man, when them giants was walking the earth, it wasn't no conversation, bro. Pac could walk in the room and bro, like, hey man, your bitch gonna look, man. Your girl gonna look over there, man. Yeah, she gonna look over there, man. You know, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, hey man, it's a lot to come along with that when you say that. You know what I mean? It's like, man, the girl help a lot with that. You know what I mean? Come on, man. You got to.
So Gipp is basically saying, without Beyonce, she rose Jay-Z's stock up. Let me think about this. I believe that Beyonce openly was with Jay, openly, 03, something like that. Openly with Jay-Z about, I think they went mad years not even saying they was a couple. People were saying they was a couple when they wasn't even saying it. By the time Jay-Z had, this is off the cuff. This is just, tell me if I'm wrong. I believe that Jay-Z had already, again, correct me if I'm wrong. He had already dropped Hard Knock Life. I think that went diamond. I'm not sure. Please fact check me. But I don't see Beyonce in that situation. I could be wrong. But even before that, it's other stuff. By the time we heard of Beyonce, this dude was already multi-platinum. I'm confused. Gipp. I'm confused. I think Jay was multi-platinum before we even heard of Destiny's Child. So I'm confused, low-key. I'm low-key confused why Gipp is saying it wouldn't be no Jay or we only put Jay in front of Pac because of Beyonce. I don't even know why Beyonce is even in this conversation. He said, who's the best rapper? He said, the Rolling Stone list said out of 50 greatest rappers, they put Jay at number 1. and Tupac at number 4. So I'm trying to figure out how Gipp went from acting to Beyonce to your swag. You ain't got the swag without the money. It was Dame that all this. This is a 5-minute clip. Gipp said all that. He said all that in 5 minutes. He done broke this man's entire life down in 5 minutes. Everything he got it from Dame. He got it from the money. He got it from Beyonce. And he got it because Pac gone. If Pac was here, he wouldn't have had none of it. So all of that, he got to thank Pac for not being around. So he basically saying he ain't got no swag. He couldn't even get chicks before he got money. Let me let this finish.
The baddest bitch, okay? She the baddest one, make all the money. Okay, you got her, okay? You know, in the hood, you know, that counts for something.
Facts.
But boy, all the players ain't playing. Because when all the players were playing, it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? So it's cool. You know, I just lived through it. That's why Pimp had his thing. Like, man, I'm Tupac fan, man. I ain't with that going with the goddamn Joneses because that's what y'all say. I f*** Pop. Period.
Shout out to Gipp again. And I respect that he's a fan of Tupac, and I am as well. But when we talk about these old days, we got to be accurate because some people going to believe this stuff, right? And the simple fact of the matter, I know people from both coasts, but I ain't never seen one stop hustling because the other coast. I ain't never seen New York stop hustling because the West Coast. I ain't never see the West Coast stop hustling because the East Coast. You know how many New York dudes was on that side before and after Biggie got killed? They kept going over there. They had to move different. Yeah, LA is what it is. You definitely got to move different. But they still went. They still got money. They still got acting jobs. They still doing whatever they need to be doing. I don't see. Death Row couldn't even stop these dudes from going over there. So I'm confused. If Gipp is Gipp, the reason my title says Gipp says Tupac is better than Jay-Z at everything, because that's literally what he's saying in here. That's literally, if you peel back everything he said, he picked everything that Jay-Z does and said that Pac does it better. Every single thing. So that's why the title says what it says. My whole thing is, we are looking at a man, for some reason, has decided, I don't know if him and Jay-Z ever had a conversation, but he don't like that man. It's so much hate in that video, it's scary. It make me wonder, like, what's going on with Gipp life that he's hating one man this much? It's kind of weird to me, honestly. I wouldn't have nothing to say if he just said, okay, I like Pac better, so I don't know why they put Jay-Z number 1, but Pac better than Jay. I would have been like, well, hey, that's your opinion. But then when you go and start talking about the man, wife, he got a wife and kids, and he got a head. I'm sure Jay heard this by now. This 3 days ago. So I'm sure Jay already got went. So now he got to hear this, that Bigg Gipp or Goody Mob saying that he would have basically took his wife from him. And he wouldn't have no muscle in the game. He'd be out of here. This game is not about one person, bro. This dude Jay had to do thousands of shows, thousands of events, thousands of signing autographs, going everywhere where he need to be to make his music where it need to go. And for Gipp to sit up there and be like, oh, the Giants wasn't walking the earth. Oh, okay, what that mean? Who was going? He would have stopped him when he was here. A lot of people say stuff like that. Oh, if this guy was around, if that guy was here, we wouldn't be having this person. Make it make sense, because at the end of the day, a lot of people that get hit, to be honest, they're not moving like they should be in the first place. Now I know that's gonna make somebody upset, but it's just a fact. Sometimes they move weird. And if we're gonna keep it a buck, Pac did not move right. He just did not move right. There's no reason to be at that fight stomping out a gangbanger when you are the money of the whole thing. The entire death row, what happened after he passed? The entire death row collapsed. Now you want to give me this reason, that reason, but it really collapsed. You want to know why it really collapsed? Because of the street ties associated with it. After that started to crumble, the entire thing crumbled. And when did it crumble? When Pac was assassinated. Now, why was he assassinated? We all know why. So, end of the day, right? Pac is a legend. Pac is Tupac. We can't take nothing from him. But I consider myself, and I consider myself somewhat of a historian with hip hop to a degree. I consider that. And when I hear a fellow person, yeah, he was there. Gipp was there. He said he met Pac, this and that, da-da-da. But when I hear a fellow person that's the same age as me giving these opinions, I'm going to speak on it. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm listening to Gipp giving a one-sided opinion, not based on fact, it's based on hate. About Pac is better than Jay-Z. At first, when you first hear it, you be like, well, he got a point. But then when you listen to all his reasonings, they all hate. In my opinion. If you're going to say Beyonce would have been with Jay, first of all, Beyonce was a little girl when Pac passed away. He wouldn't even think about no Beyonce. First of all. And Jay wasn't either. But a lot of things transpired for her to become who she was. Right? We didn't know who she was either. And so he's like, are you going to go to the baddest rapper in the game? So what you're saying is if Jay would have bagged her, Pac would have came and took her. Who he had a girlfriend of his own at the same time. Right? At the end of the day, he wasn't trying to wife nobody. So what, he would have smashed it, made a song about it? Like, make it make sense, Gipp. It has to make some sense. Because you dissed this man for having money. Right? You made it like you really a corn without the money. That's basically what he's saying. You're a corn without the money. Without the money, you gets no girls. Like we on the block. And like, you know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, when I see a fellow elder and elder statesman blatantly hating for no reason. I don't know what the reason, what happened, right? I don't know what happened with Gipp. I don't know what happened with Gipp and Jay. It sounds like low-key jealousy in a way, in my opinion, if you watch the video. And you've watched the follow-up video where he doubles down on what he's saying. But I feel like Gipp is misinformed. And I feel like, not even misinformed, I think Gipp is so caught up in whatever situation how he feel about Jay, he's making Pac bigger than life. Right? And Pac is bigger than life, but Pac was not going to stop. I don't feel like Pac was going to stop anything from New York. Because he already was trying to mend the situation with New York. He already had a big record plan to have all these New York rappers on it. They had already started sessions to record the song that was going to end the East Coast, West Coast beef anyway. He was already working on that. He had a whole album, I think it was called One World or something like that he was going to release with all these East Coast and all these West Coast rappers, and he was going to try to settle that whole situation. So I don't know how he stops. According to Gipp, stops everything moving. That he would have just been. I'm gonna say this and leave it at this. If Pac would have somehow lived, right? He would have tried to stay in the game and make it what it was. Because the simple fact, the game changes every couple years. Now, you're going on one snapshot. Pac was only 25 years old. You're going on a snapshot in time that Tupac would have did this for all these years. It ain't easy to stay relevant from 1996 to 2023. That ain't easy, bro. And we just assume Pac would have rolled with all the punches, but we don't know. That Thug Life stuff might have became played out after a while. And he might not have changed with the sound. We don't know what would have happened. Right? So we don't know what would have happened. It's a lot of things, the scenarios. We've seen Jay do it already. We don't know what Pac would have did. We already seen Jay do it. 20-something years, this dude's still relevant. We sitting here talking about him. So I don't know what Pac would have did, but we do know we already seen Jay do it. So this the scenario is already goofy because of the simple fact you can't put somebody that passed away against somebody that's living. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's all I gotta say. Gipp, salute. It's no love lost, bro. I'm gonna get the next Goody Mob record. Already gave praise to the last Goody Mob record, the one that came out about 3 years ago. Salute Goody Mob. Salute, you know what I'm saying? The whole Dungeon family. You know what I mean? So what I want to do is I'm gonna let y'all have y'all voice. Go in the comments. Let me know what you think. CLBMG. Let me know. If maybe Pac is the better rapper. For all we know, who knows? I don't know. Maybe he is better. Right? He got bigger records at the time. He had huge records. He still got records to this day, and nobody outsold him yet. So who knows? But leave it at rap if we're gonna talk rap.